played, but he played a solid c5.
But this c5
because he
solid.
wanted to stop d4. He just simply didn't want to see d4 on the board.
But when you weaken such a square as d5, the question was whether this is solid.
Okay, c5, d3,
so d3,
knight c6, knight d5. This is the position right now on the board. So Fabiano is thinking and playing knight f6, I believe.
Yeah, actually, knight d5, of course, white enters in a, he makes a few commitments. I mean, playing knight d5 so early, it would be better to have the other knight close to d5, to have a replacement. I mean, on e3 or knight
yeah,
e1,
okay,
knight
but
c2.
this is very typical, right? To have f3 and then you have to castle and go to e3. But after f5, you're not going to have time for that.
Well, I mean, okay, you could have, not played knight d5, but played all the things, short castle and knight e1. But he goes, bishop
but
h3,
f5 is there already.
I know.
Because normally I was playing this with knight e7 and g6, bishop g7.
It's a bit different, yes.
But I think it can make a difference that the pawn is on f5,
because
like
of f4,
f4, e4. Yes. I don't know.
No, but it's clear that White's policy in this game is to be very concrete from an early stage.
Well, probably this is what Fabiano wanted with by playing f5.
No, but
play somehow more.
No, but I mean White. Okay, Fabiano plays. He moves some pawns. It's a typical structure, but White doesn't treat it the classical way. Yeah,
but the question is whether the bishop on h3 will have to come back, and it was only a waste of a tempo.
No, of course he cannot do that. Of course he has
but
to
maybe
something.
The idea is at one point he wants to go e4 somehow to exchange.
I think so, yes.
Because otherwise it doesn't make too much sense, right?
Well, he inhibits f4, which is an attacking move, because then, okay...
So we have knight d5, knight f6 on the board.
Maybe if black takes, then just take, and d4, maybe...
It's white to move now. So the question is whether knight f6,
do you think
castle... Well, he has to do something. If black goes knight d5, black is very fine.
No, that was what I was thinking, that he wants to allow that, and then e4.
So let's say castle takes.
The question is whether to castle or not, whether we need the king there or not.
Well, it's also a question whether knight d4 or knight b8.
Well, maybe e3 is the move, not castle. If you want to allow... no, this is what I mean. Knight d5 looks a bit premature, but well...
But maybe after e3, e4 can be.
Yeah, always. Okay, so I take, no?
Takes.
So I take on c8.
Takes.
And okay, take on f6. No, I would take on f6 and knight d2. Okay, I know that my development is not so good, but... But
okay, well, queen c2, knight b4.
And I lose... well, I will... Maybe it's only an exchange, no?
Well, for some people it matters.
yeah, but I mean, it's structure and pawns, but no, it's not enough, no?
Well, I don't know. It's not so obvious, I guess.
It's not obvious. I'm proud of this.
Okay, so what we have is knight f6, and we'll get back what's going on board.
Unless he shows us what he had in mind, bishop h3 and knight d5 look like an adventure.
It's an adventure, and he has to know what he's doing, that's for sure. I don't know if e4, one more question.
e4 at once, no?
Yes, or knight f6 and e4. I guess it's kind of the same.
Maybe e4.
This is the only last question before we move on. e4 takes. I had in mind to take.
Yes, queen probably, no?
Yeah, let's take, and then takes.
Yes, okay, but now question, okay.
If you want to take with the pawn?
But we don't get anything out of it.
And then let's say knight d4 or something.
Okay, but here white is, it's one-sided, no? I take on d4 and queen d3. There is a bit one-sided, no? Bishop d2.
Yeah, it looks kind of nice.
Theoretically, white has play on both wings, and black doesn't have that much, no?
Let's see if we have a move there. I see white I think made a move. Knight takes e7.
Okay, he keeps surprising us, no?
Absolutely.
Now he has to show us what he has in mind with his c1. Okay, with the h3 bishop, we already have
Well, let's
doubts.
say knight takes, right?
Yeah,
Or queen takes. That's the other one.
both are good.
Both are completely interesting.
So we had our doubts about one bishop, but now...
We have questions and doubts about the other one too.
I see a dream. b3, bishop b2, knight e1, knight c2, f4. But how many moves this means?
It takes time. Let's say it that way.
Bishop, before, no, here maybe b4. No, here he can play
Here
b4.
b4.
Pawn sacrifice, doesn't matter.
But it's not a pawn sacrifice, you just go.
Queen a5,
knight
c6,
c6,
a3. No, with this I'm happy with white. I mean here...
Finally.
I understand what my pieces are doing. No, okay, we accept it.
Okay, so after knight e7, it's queen e7. Maybe white will be playing quickly a3, b4?
But a5, a3, a5. And black, okay, he'll castle and play f4 because now he can weaken the...
Maybe he wants to go some knight h4.
And f4. Knight h4. If g6, then f4. But maybe f4.
Or maybe bishop g5 first, possible? If you go f4...
I was thinking to keep the bishop if I put such
maybe
pressure.
knight h5.
Yeah, knight g2. Just to have it complete.
Well, it's going to be a very complicated
yes.
game, I think. So after knight e7...
But knight h4, f4 I would be worried of. So queen e7, knight h4, f4. That's black's idea, no?
f4.
f4, yes, okay, you take probably on... but knight f5 is... But is it so good?
No, because queen d7,
d7,
everything
no?
is protected. e4. Okay, let's see what Fabi is going to be up to. We have Aronyan playing on board 2 against Nabati.
But I must say that maybe if white really has something in mind, maybe this game will write a new page in the, let's say, strategic theory of the English
Bishop
opening.
h3.
Bishop h3 is, let's say, just the start, but then...
I'm sure it's one of the engines approved. One of them approved it, that it's interesting.
It can also be
you
a human
can make
concept.
a good surprise.
It can also be a human concept because, okay, knight d5, knight takes e7, but let's see if he sustains it with a credible human concept after knight e7. When everything he did so far is surprising, for me, at least.
Who is an expert in
well, up to a certain level, no?
So, what is Aronyan doing here? It was a Petrov. And we all know that Petrov is an opening which is very difficult to crack and very difficult to get something. Though this is somehow interesting. Bishop g6. I think the regular move is taking on d3 here. Takes castle. But okay, bishop g6. Maybe we can see what are the games, because somehow it seems to me that bishop g6. I was playing this with white. And I don't remember that I was watching bishop g6.
But generally speaking, knight bd2 is not so ambitious, or is it? Queen d2. Bishop g6 was played a few times. Okay, and now what?
Bishop g6, c3.
c3 was played.
c3, castle, queen c2.
It was Dominguez against Yu Yangji and some lower rated players.
Okay, so queen c2, bishop d6, bishop g5, queen d7, and bishop h4.
So queen c2 castle is still the Dominguez game. Bishop d6 seems to be the novelty.
Bishop d6. What was played there? Queen d7?
Let me see.
After castle, queen c2?
Cannot visualize it.
But
here.
actually, Aronyan is thinking more. He's thinking more. He went bishop d5, bishop h4, with the idea, I believe, to go bishop g3 and exchange the bishop and somehow create the e5 square for the knight.
But generally speaking, just asking us from a c4 player to an e4 I will play only this against strong players, somehow. Doesn't feel so threatening.
Well, it's not much. Black played rook f8. It looks very solid. I would be surprised if black gets a problem here. Let's move on to board 3.
Of course, he cannot.
Smirin. Oh.
We're talking about symmetrical.
We thought we moved from one game to another, but it seems like the next board is more or less the same, just a little bit progress further.
But maybe this was a different opening. Maybe this was.
Well, it was Berlin,
the rookie one thing. Okay.
Yeah, but
so,
it means that.
So, as from a c4 player to an e4 player, is there much?
Well, this. Generally, it's a draw. I mean, Ilya Smirin is a very good grandmaster, so he should not make. He's an attacking player, but it's a drawish game.
He has a fantastic instinct. Actually, maybe this position is too dry for him because he has an instinct of how to regroup. Somehow his pieces are flowing so naturally, but now there are no pieces to flow.
A4, A5, so they are getting pressed here and on the other side, both sides. Pawns are getting blocked with each other. Well, it will be. It's very hard. When I woke up, I had to deal with all these openings. King f2, black played g5. You can see on the body language of Wesley that, well, I'm not happy with this, but okay, let's play. Let's see if I can get anything unpleasant for Ilya.
I don't think he would be unhappy either because he's an objective player. He's not trying to... I don't think he's the kind of player who would try to play against objective for a win against the objective.
No, absolutely, but still you have probably he would be more happy to have a more lively position with more action happening, right?
Yes.
Because Ilya is a very interesting player, and also because he believes in himself that if it's going to be a messy position, he will have more chances, let's say.
But you know, this can be also a small psychological trick. I mean, you sit like this, I mean, you're just bored, okay, maybe let's make a few more moves, this is what your body language shows. And then you make a small mistake, and then he starts playing, and his body language changes.
Well, so, now he played knight c5, and now there is a big question what black will go b6, because after b6
But
I think knight
d7
d7 is
and
possible,
you have
and then b5 is a must. So the
maybe
question is, who does this favor?
No, okay,
if
with the
b5.
knight c5, then I think I like.
Well,
start
knight
to like
c5
white,
goes
no?
back, so after knight c5 probably black will be going
Knight d6. Rook b8 is too. Or rook a7. No, but rook e7, a7
Rook
preparing
e7,
b6.
rook a7 also
Preparing
possible,
b6,
yeah,
no?
with preparation of b6.
But knight d7, okay, so what? Knight d7.
Also knight e6 is possible.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'm not going to analyze this because it is pretty balanced. So we have the fourth game. Wow. Let's see this because this is
no?
Dominguez against Rothstein. Maxim, it was also Berlin, anti-Berlin, d3, bishop c5, c3, castle, castle, d5. Knight d2, d takes e4, d takes e4, queen e7.
It's very dangerous for white to take the pawn with bishop c6 and knight e5. When d5 I know, I remember analysis.
Yeah.
No, this is too dangerous. No?
Okay, so knight d2 takes, queen e7, h3 against bishop h4, I guess, a5, a4.
You know, it's very
rook
strange
d8.
because earlier in such structures, Italian, d3 Spanish, white sometimes played a4 and then black had to choose between a6 and a5. And nowadays, in both openings, they frequently play a5.
Black play a5.
Yes, because, okay, there are some dynamic things with a4. So actually,
And then white is playing a4 to stop
yes,
the possible a4 for
yes.
black.
And actually, in a more general meaning, there are positions where when you analyze, you just make the moves h4, h5 first of all, because you know that one of the players will advance the h-pawn and the other one will save. So it just makes part of the local harmony of the position. So
Queen c2 and knight b8. Look at this move.
Karpov, knight b1, yes. I mean, okay.
Knight b8. What is this move?
It's funny.
Black
no?
wants to go this, right? Regrouping his pieces. C6, bishop e6, knight
reach
d7.
perfect symmetry.
Yeah.
Because it seems, with the knight on c6, it seems that black is slightly better developed. Because, okay.
But he says, no, I go knight b8, so I'm not
because
better
his knight on
developed.
c6, it's also about the quality of development. His knight on c6 is...
Is not a right place, because he wants to go knight d7, knight f8, knight
yes,
d6.
but then it means that white is a bit better developed, no? Because he has the knight on d2 already.
Yeah, but the rook is not there.
Okay, rook e1.
And it's not clear to me whether h3 is plus or minus, because black can go knight h5, knight f4.
No, it's
rook e1.
Earlier...
and look, knight d8, knight e8.
Aha. So knight... If you look at
Very unusual plan.
Yes. No,
Black is trying to regroup it here and maybe to come with this knight to d7 and f6.
Yes, that's his idea probably.
Very interesting plan. I've never seen this before.
No, I have put my knight on d6 in this structure a few times, but somehow at this stage, I mean, black is playing counter-developing moves.
Incredible.
But white is not so well developed either, so...
But it's a very strange plan.
No, the knight on d6, I believe I have it in my blood. I sometimes played it just like
to
this.
go knight b8 and the next move to go knight e8?
No. Knight b8, this is... each move has some
I mean,
meaning,
what can our viewers, our club players say when we, in principle, say you have to develop with your pieces and then look the center, the open files?
May I give an advice to our spectators? Don't try this at home.
I mean, going knight b8 and knight e8?
No, this
very original, and we can't say that
F8.
even f5 is not something black is playing at all. Maybe in another 15 moves.
Yes. Well, okay, if black still plays queen f8, then my only question is how is the bishop reaching h8, no?
Yeah, but talking seriously about it, he really wants to get here.
So he didn't like the idea of bishop c6 followed by knight c4, probably. So
yeah,
this is
okay,
why he wanted knight b8.
That I completely understand that he wanted to avoid this and to have a nice knight on c4.
And the knight is not so well
which is
placed.
Still not the end of the world, but I understand
he wanted to forget about it. Okay, B8, okay, this is typical
And the
for...
strange thing is, normally you would have a preparation on this, right? But it was not a preparation because white has spent 7 minutes plus 6, so it's like 30 minutes
and
up to now.
Black is almost in time trouble.
And black spent already 50 minutes,
Yeah.
nearly 45. So it's a plan which was not prepared at all. It's a surprise plan.
I repeat, the knight on d6 doesn't surprise me, but at this stage to go back like this with
Well,
all the
now
pieces,
the good thing is for black that knight c4 is not
C6.
possible because of c6.
Yes.
So the question is after knight e8. Can white play... Well, probably white will have to come back in order to
or to
open
B3,
up.
or to
Or
B3.
to go to b3. Knight b3, very
no,
logical.
I mean, no, bishop b3, I meant to go to b3 with the bishop.
To bishop c4, you mean?
Yes, to go to c4 and b3, yes. That was my...
That I don't know.
And after knight d6.
I don't know if I like
I'm
that.
toying around with the development too, no?
I think I'd rather
Maybe
have
b6,
my bishop on
b6,
f1.
bishop a6. No. Maybe.
Well, b6 is possible. Also, I can try to start jumping around or even going back with the bishop and knight
black is
c5.
still better developed somehow. Okay, so knight b3.
It takes too long time for me bishop c4, so I want to go back here.
Okay.
Let's say you go knight d6, and
Knight
then I
b3
can
or
knight b3 or knight c4. Knight c4 makes sense actually. Knight c4 makes sense. I'm attacking, so do you
Probably
play
he
knight d7?
Or takes.
Well, if
maybe
takes, was it such a big deal to make 3 moves to exchange my knight?
No, knight e7.
Threatening with this?
No, knight e7 first, yes, and no, bishop f1 and knight c4 makes a lot of sense.
Here knight d7.
Yes,
right?
knight e7.
Okay, but now maybe I'm going to make some
Bishop
provocative
g5 anyway, so f6
things.
probably.
f6
Okay, but that's a small win.
and
Bishop d2.
Bishop d2, or wonder if now my plan is b4. Is this knight really so good on d6?
And knight h4 is an issue. Maybe there will be even a mate. Knight g6 check, hg, queen h4 mate.
Wow, you really see a lot of moves ahead. You have a good imagination, I see. Sometimes you want to give a check here,
Yes.
check knight g6 afterwards, and queen h4.
Yes.
But that's far away. That is not something black has to be very much worried
But
yet.
as a commentator, we can talk about it. No, but white has some chances.
Knight
Even-
e8. So the surprise is there, and now Dominguez just doesn't understand. What? What is this?
No, bishop f1 I like. Your suggestion is knight b3. I'm not so sure. Where is the knight heading?
Well, I just wanted to open up for the diagonal of my bishop,
The same
or
idea, no?
somehow to get out. So, but I think bishop f1 is something that will come because anyway, if black goes here, you will come back, right? So we might as well just move earlier.
Yeah, so probably we want to exchange that knight on d6 because
But by the way, I have another question. What happens if on this move can white play b4 and takes knight b3?
uh-huh,
b6?
maybe.
Well, I don't know. White go bishop b2 or
And now you know what the surprise
there
will be.
and bishop d2.
You know the surprise now. Maybe knight c6.
No, but
but-
knight c6 is not possible because takes and takes on b4.
And knight b4 doesn't work, no?
Knight b4, queen
Or
c5.
knight d4. Knight d4 looks bad, no? You just take on d4, probably.
I don't know.
Somehow it's not so crazy about
Yeah.
those A and B pawns.
I think Dominguez will find something. I don't trust the plan of black because I believe that it's
No, it's
you don't have enough time to go backwards
Yes, of course.
on move
we
11 and 12. Once you develop,
we understand the concept.
yeah,
But,
if you have enough time. And White didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't make obvious mistakes.
I mean,
No, I mean the first move could be improved probably. But okay.
Thank you. This is what about my e4. Okay, so this was USA-Israel, very tough games. Just let's look back on the first board because we have some moves there. And, well, this is what we were looking, by the way. Look, this is what we have. Knight h4, f4, bishop c8, rook c8 was played, and gf4.
No, these are very principled games somehow. I mean,
it's a very fun game.
in a far from obvious position with far from obvious plan, I believe that both opponents take the principled. I mean, they know it doesn't even matter what the engines say, but it's about principles. I mean, okay, this is what the classical school would require from this position. f4, and of course, white has to take the pawn, and black has to. Okay, knight h5 probably. No?
And we have Fabi playing castle, if I saw it correctly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because there's a this kind of sacrifice we see in the Dutch, Leningrad Dutch, for instance. The pawn is not important, the square is important. Somehow knight h5, f takes e5, doesn't matter, the knights are coming. So,
and this is the kind of game what Fabiano is playing. He likes this kind of position, energy, full of calculation.
Yes.
And he left his board, now he's happy.
So far I believe it was an intuitive game somehow, but of course at some point you have to calculate too. Because okay, you may be a pawn down with black. So,
in the meantime, I also got a question from our audience whether when Bobby was here, was he recommending any book to me to study from? But actually, he was not coaching me and my sisters. He was visiting our house, and we were playing once or twice, only in pairs, and it was not real chess, but it was 960. It was the Fischer random, because he was really a believer that opening theory is ruining the game, and he wanted to focus only about the depths of chess understanding, and this is why he was pushing very much that we have to play the Fischer random, where the basic rank pieces are shuffled. So you have ways of playing it: either beforehand you figure out how to set up the pieces, or you play the first 8 moves just without the 8 pieces, and you have to put your first 8 moves wherever you want. To be honest, I was never a big fan of that chess, because it can become really messy from the start, and I've seen quite a few games where people are really working very hard in the first 10 or 15 moves to get something similar to classical normal middle game of a game. So he was not really suggesting, apart from his own book, my 60 memorable games. But it was very interesting to see him the way he was thinking, but it was a very special experience to meet him in person. Well, I think it's about time to switch to the ladies section to look what is going on there. But before that, I want to make a highlight that actually in the open section we have certain ladies who are competing, which is very nice, and I hope there are going to be more ladies in case they want to improve and they also fit into the open section team of their own country. And I want to highlight one lady, Julia Label Arias, originally from Colombia. She's the oldest participant in the Olympiad. This time she's playing in the women's section, but she was playing in open section previously for Monaco, and she played for 3 different countries. Before, she played for Argentina, later on France, and now for Monaco. And before we start to look some of the games, I would like you to see some of the participants who are actually playing, the ladies who play in the open section. So let's see the video of that. Let's go. Yeah, so now we are switched to the ladies section already. And let's see what they are up to on the keyboards. And actually, some of the games already seems like not the middle game, but even the end game. If we see, for example, Sebag against Koneru, we are already in the end game.
This was an open Spanish, I believe, no?
Yeah, this was again an open Spanish. We're going to see it on the
If I
screen
understand
also.
well the position.
Yes, it was an open Spanish, what Koneru
Queen E2
was
probably.
playing.
Yes.
Queen E2 I was not playing. I was mainly an ID2 player. But this actually probably the position we have on the board is old theory.
No, but this is old theory, very old theory.
Very old
yes,
theory.
Nothing has changed.
So let's reach out to the position which is actually standing on the board between the French number one Marie Sebag and Hampi Koneru. So you were an open Spanish player yourself, right?
Yes.
For a long time. Would you be happy here with black?
No, because it's a draw. I mean, there is no play left. By the way, Tartakover famously said that between the opening and the end game, gods have placed the middle game. It doesn't always happen. In some games, they forget to do that. No, I mean, this is...
Yeah, basically in this game, from opening, we ended up in the end game,
yes,
right?
yes.
We just
No,
forgot about the middle game.
Queen E2, you know, it's not something you should be afraid of, but if you play the open Spanish, you want some interesting structure, and then this is the best black can do. I mean, just equalize and wait for a draw over.
So what's the next move of black in this position? Should he be playing rook e8 to attack the e5, or is
Well,
he
the
playing...
bishop is hanging, so probably a5. A5
Ah,
is
sorry,
logical.
yes. Because at first it seems like white has a little
then
nicer...
There is this knight on d4, okay. There is a knight on
h5.
d4. No, a5 I thought, no, maybe. H5.
Yeah, a5. No, I just misunderstood.
Then maybe rook f1, no?
Because the rook on f7 on the sevens, it looks like a very comfortable place for the rook, and it can also cause some
so okay,
trouble.
so let's go rook f1, bishop d5, then e6. She could try, no?
Well, yeah, and if bishop
Okay.
takes,
Then, okay.
takes rook f7. Even though I'm not
it's also
sure
a
what is
question-
this,
yeah,
because
it-
takes,
yeah.
check here, check, but it looks
No,
not
this
good.
is no, this
I
is
think
better, yes.
h4.
Or even rook d, even if you, you want to make me.
I just want to give checkmate,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Yes, no, but the endgame would have also been.
Because sometimes there are ideas like
I'm
this.
not so sure what was this.
Whether it works.
No, a little bit earlier if we go, because something is.
So this is
different.
the position after rook c7.
No, but to go a bit earlier to understand whether what my old theory was here.
Maybe we
Okay.
can check where we deviated from this.
Yes, but
position.
I also want to. Okay,
Takes, knight d4.
I'm not sure she should have given the c7 pawn.
Rook b8,
That's my only.
rook dc1.
She went bishop. Yeah, I would be worried about this moment somewhere. Okay, so knight d4. Knight d4. Just a moment to find my buttons.
Bishop
So rook
b3.
c5 and rook f. Maybe c5 is more restrictive. But okay, she played rook f8.
After rook knight d4, right?
Yeah, c5 maybe is more restrictive.
Yeah, I can understand, because knight on d4,
Yeah, and
The way in the
bishop
game-
is under domination. I don't know. It's of course if she analyzed then
so rook f b8, we had games on that.
Rook f8. Yes, there are games on that.
And rook dc1,
Rook
which
d3
is very logical.
normal. Bishop b3. Okay.
Bishop
Otherwise,
b3.
why did you do that?
Rook
Rook
c7.
takes c7, and she played bishop d5. Bishop e6 was more frequent.
Okay, so did not play a5 as we looked, but the immediate.
A5
Attack
was,
on the
was
b2.
yes, it was too slow. I saw the idea with. So Muziciucana made a draw with Saduakasova with white, and Giri a draw with Anand.
So what happens if rook a5 in this position? Because I
A5,
want to
but-
chase the bishop
But
from its
rook
place.
d8 maybe, no?
Rook d8. I don't know, I would still be kind of more happy with sitting on the white side. Though both pieces are very powerful.
Yeah. No, yes. No, in principle it may work. I mean, okay, we have these games, Muzijuk and Enquiry, which ended in draws. So, but personally, I would have prepared c5. I mean, why to? Of course, if you analyze with the computer and everything, you can be sure. But I mean, intuitively, well.
Well, here knight f5 can happen, right? At some
okay,
point.
then
For
bishop
example,
e6,
okay, I go knight f5, bishop e6. I go, let's say, knight d6, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, with black, I wouldn't like to be worried about such concrete nuances.
Yeah, rook b8 takes, rook a7.
But it's still
Well,
not
no
threat,
threat,
not
no
threatening
threat.
much, you know? H6,
It's just scary. I also thought about rook a5, rook d8. Can I go, I don't know,
B4.
king, well, b4, rook b8 anyway, I believe. So I thought not king f2, let's say h4. And after rook b8 to go rook a6 takes and rook d6. You have to go back, right? And
King
then
h2.
simply king h2 and...
No, of course, even if the position is equal, white's position is more equal.
Well, maybe takes, rook d8, no threat yet. But after
King
after
g3.
d7, king f8. If not d7, but king g3,
King g3.
also king f8 or
but
g6. Sorry, g6
King
because you
f4,
have knight
king f4.
But the pawn is hanging already on d6, isn't
And
it?
don't I get anything? King e5?
Well, you get a centralized king.
No, this is what I wanted to show. And it's nothing, yeah?
Yeah, but it's well, of course, white has great compensation, but nothing more.
No, okay.
I mean, probably king f6 and rook d6. It's a great way of
Yes,
making
yes.
a perpetual check for repetition.
Well, g4 isn't really bad. But
Then
of
king
course,
g7, I thought. But
No,
still,
but
white
of
has
course-
a
yeah.
good active king and active rook. But well, obviously, Humpy probably made her homework. She knows exactly what she's doing. So this game most likely will end in a draw sooner
So
or
she went-
later. We have board 2. Harika plays with the white pieces against Sophie Millet from France. Some energetic play is there.
It's the London attack. After h4, we can call it attack and not a defense, no? I
Absolutely.
believe.
Well, white does have some plans. Definitely, it seems like white is going to be attack on h and possibly going to be attacking on the king side, while black is going to be
but I'm
looking for counter
I'm not
attack.
so happy with black's play. I mean, okay, this before thing, of course, is typical for the French and so on, but it's very slow. It's very slow, and okay, white can massively advance the pawns with gain of time, g4, g5, h5,
Well, the question is whether, let's say b4, what do you play?
g4, let's say, no?
G4, and then I go knight e4. Like I
Aha,
want to
you
block
want-
the bishop. I mean, g4, h4, I know what it is. I'm playing it all the time. It was my way of doing it.
It's also a good question, yeah? So I'm just... Okay, maybe g4 is not what I need, but then, okay, but then what?
Well, h5 can be a continuation, but anyway, I just want to go knight e4
knight
next.
e4 is the perfect. You can start
Yeah.
with knight e4, actually.
I wanted to push b4, so
This is not a
I'm
bad
acting
thing,
like I
yes.
want something, but maybe bishop a4 is possible here. Bishop b7
And maybe just take, because Carlsen had some games...
to take bishop c6.
Yeah, Carlsen had some games in which...
But where is the attack after that?
No, it's not only attack, it's also the blockade on Dars. Somehow this is what he did in some games. I don't see
But
that in
here
this
I think
position.
black goes knight e4
Knight
and
e4
f6.
anyway, no?
At f6.
So, no, I don't know what... No, okay, let's go back. I don't like white's move knight df3.
Okay, so it was here.
So
But she played very early knight e5, I see.
this makes some... and now
It
she...
was a very early knight e5.
Oh,
Castle, bishop d3, c5, c3, knight c6, knight d2, queen c7, knight df3. There is no way out from
no,
here.
you can take on c6, but okay, the question
But
is
it's
what is that?
it a
Yeah.
big deal? Just bishop here, or even queen c6 or bc6?
Well, I mean,
There's nothing really,
it's
no?
the English defense. I mean, okay, you cannot...
Well, maybe this is why I never played it. Okay,
No,
so
because
knight this.
everything looks so fine for white. I said, okay, come on, how did she manage this? But yeah, the problem is that now there is no control on e4. Maybe queen b1 is the move. But okay, after b4, the
Okay,
queen.
h4 was played, and now black to move. So I go b4. You cannot go queen b1. I mean, after that bc, rook b8, and it just.
No.
Or rook
No, I
b8
try to find
immediately.
some.
Yeah, the idea how to. Okay, so I am not sure I like it for white.
No.
I'm not sure the attack is prepared well. Okay, so black is thinking. Probably she got scared. h4.
Yes.
What is it going? What is it coming over there? b4 we are expecting. Board 3. Let's see. Shavina plays against Vaishali.
Oh, what was that? It looks
And,
like a Nimzo Benoni something.
Yeah, it's a merge. It's a hybrid something. It's 4e3, castle, bishop d2, c5, d5, takes, d6.
No, of course, this is highly unpopular,
Knight a6,
which doesn't mean it's
a3, bishop a5, knight f4. That's a good spot for the knight, isn't it?
Are you sure?
Well, g3 is more logical, right?
Yes, but the knight c7.
Knight c7,
And
but I
because of-
think she went knight f4 because d5.
Yeah. Because
She wanted to make sure that it's defended.
Yes. But maybe knight g3 is possible. Knight g3, knight c7, e4.
a4.
E4.
Sorry, that's why I was
E4.
surprised.
No, to defend the pawn.
Nowadays, you never know. Yeah, okay, but it means that
but
you...
rook e8, and I'm going to lose the pawn anyway. No, rook e8.
Yeah,
I'm
rook
not in
e8 or
time.
even bishop
Yeah, but-
c3.
Yeah, first rook e8
Yeah.
and losing a pawn somewhere. Yeah, doesn't work, sorry.
So she went knight f4, knight c7, bishop d3, b5, castle.
Well, of course, I don't like white's position.
Well, for now at least, black cannot take the pawn because it would be a blunder of a piece. Takes.
Yes, but
Actually,
bishop.
it's not even a blunder because after queen h5, f5 is possible. So after knight d5, bishop h7, I guess.
And there may be a little something, no?
I'm not even sure there is so much.
Yeah, we have this check and b4.
No, but maybe in this position, instead of queen h5, to go here first. Maybe on e4, the queen stands better.
And maybe b4. Oh, okay, but my idea would be to block,
Yeah.
to keep the pawns under control, and then I have a stable advantage. I don't know how much, but yeah, but what about bishop e7 instead of this force operation? Instead of everything.
Here?
Yeah, what about bishop b7?
Bishop b7. Yeah, I mean, black is definitely not ready to do that.
E4.
But maybe-
No, then e4. Okay, so bishop b7, no. Then rook e8 she has to start with. Okay, yeah. So white has developed a bit artificially.
But isn't this b5 something that I can try to eat?
So is it edible?
This is a question, and also the other question is if I can go b4 first,
Yeah,
and
such
after
that
that
is
to play knight
something.
b5, especially after rook e8, that after exchange bishop b5 would be a tempo.
Okay. So white's development looks a bit
I mean, there is
artificial,
knight d5, but it looks kind of shaky stuff.
yes, then it justifies knight f4. So maybe white's development is subtle. It's not artificial, but it has some hidden. And actually, white is a little bit better developed, no? Her bishops are developed.
Well, of course, it's always the d5 pawn. If you can keep the d5 pawn, that's already...
Yes. That's her main point, to keep the pawn and then play. But it seems that there are some
Okay, this is board number 3, and let's say what is board number 4. It's Tanya playing against Navrotescu.
the former Romanian player. Actually, with her father, I played so many games, 40-something years ago.
Some time ago.
Yes.
So what is this position?
Well, it's a nice blockade for white in principle, but okay. This is not over yet, because if white wants to consolidate the queen side with a4, then knight d5, knight b4. So, okay, the question is how to make progress with white. If you play e4 to prevent that, well, bishop g7 and that bishop may...
Well, e4 I don't like because of the d4.
I know, especially with the bishop on f8, no?
Yes.
So I would say that white has stabilized the position to her favor a bit, but it's not...
It's not easy to progress. Well, definitely a4, a5 is generally the plan.
Yes, but if the
So
knight comes to b4...
I go a4.
Okay. She
Knight.
can still wait, okay. Knight d5, okay, knight d5. No, but now the threat is knight c3, so you have to...
Knight c3 and bishop g7.
So you have to parry that.
Exactly.
And I will play bishop g7 anyway, and maybe
Okay, so
then...
it seems like a4 is early.
Yeah.
Maybe rook b1.
Rook b1, probably. I think that knight d5 anyway, no?
Knight here. It's not so easy why white
They are
has
somehow,
a...
the position are just like this and not so easy to...
Black
course,
maybe
a4
has a very reasonable position because black is really going to put her bishop to g7.
And white
Also
cannot keep the
sometimes
knight.
even knight b6
Yes.
if she wants.
Yes.
So it's also black can double the rook d7, rook
Yes,
d8.
because she has the umbrella on d5, no? She has that
Yeah.
umbrella there.
Yeah.
So maybe black is... no, optically, I thought it was
But
good
maybe for
white.
her, the first step will be to play bishop g7.
Maybe.
She just played g6. She could play
Uh-huh,
knight d5 anyway already
No, but
before.
Yes. No, so this is an interesting position.
Match. Let's
No.
go on to Ukraine, Azerbaijan. Wow, g4.
This is a non-typical hedgehog.
Well, up to this point, it was kind of a typical.
It was the bishop b5 check, no?
But bishop on b2. Yes, again, a Sicilian 3 bishop b5.
Yeah, okay, now the black queen has some freedom because with the light squared bishops on board, the queen would never go to h5.
Yes.
But okay, g4, okay, that was a provocation.
It was a provocation and it
And
was
white
played.
picked up the gauntlet. Of course, it can end up badly for white if she doesn't sustain the attack.
Well, the black squares,
Yeah.
like f4.
No, in principle...
I would be scared to
black
play with
threatens-
white this way.
Yes, black threatens h5 actually. And then if g takes h5, of course, the structure... Maybe queen f2 is... or queen g2. You have to do something about h5. Queen g2. I wouldn't
Somehow I
exchange the
feel
queens.
that g4 was premature.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It is a matter of principle. How do you dare to...
But after queen g2, also h5 is possible.
And g5, knight h7, you mean?
Because, well, h3 is a must, it seems.
But if g5, then...
g5, knight h7, you want g6.
Yes.
Knight g5.
Takes on f7, okay, that can be funny, no?
And
f4.
knight
Knight
h3.
Knight h3, okay. So king h1, let's say. But this can be double funny.
Well, I don't know, knight h3 anyway.
Queen,
want to
queen
go
g3
knight
is not
f2.
possible, okay, so...
Knight f4.
Some play starts, no? White should hope for some knight d5 or something.
What would white want?
Maybe knight d5, she should think
Knight
of.
d5.
But maybe it's not working yet, no? Maybe rook d2. Let's try rook d2. I don't like this.
Well, if rook d2, the problem is I can
Knight-
even go bishop g5.
Aha.
But
If so, queen g3, I was thinking.
I thought, I mean, I occupy an f4.
Yeah, no,
Queen
it's
g3,
not nice.
I can
it's
go
not
knight
nice.
e5.
No, that's not.
mean, it looks
No,
like-
probably white has to do something tactical. Knight d5 or knight a6. Otherwise,
So, okay, this is the position right now, right? And she played queen f2,
queen
of
f2.
course.
Okay,
Yes.
queen f2 solves
Very
the problems, but
understandable.
okay, takes then h6, knight h7.
Well, the question is, for example, if black goes queen h3, is it dangerous for black?
Maybe queen g3, and at least she mends the pawn weaknesses. No, now there are no weaknesses on f4 and h4.
Queen f2 she played. without
Yes,
too
and,
much of a thinking.
and h6 followed by knight h7, I think. h6, knight
H6.
h7. Yes, knight h7, knight f8, bishop g5, knight g6. Without queens on board, there is no attack, and there are such a. And okay, black can still think of b5. I mean, just in principle.
Yeah.
Just.
But what is this without queens? Generally, it's a good question.
And the
What is
bishop
it
on
considered?
b2 leaves all the squares weak.
Yeah, f4.
She can regroup, okay, but if bishop c1, then b5.
What
So-
about after king f2? If